Hey there, welcome to No Recipe Required. Hope you're doing well. I'm Dave. Tonight I'm going to cook for you a mushroom sugo. Now sugos are usually kind of long braised pasta sauces, usually just a little bit of tomato, certainly lots of meat. Here we're substituting mushrooms for the meat. It's absolutely awesome. Let's get started by sauteing off our mushrooms. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do for our fettuccine and mushroom sugo is make our sauce, our mushroom sauce. Here I've got a pan, just put on the heat. I'm going to let it get, good medium-high temperature, and we're going to saute off our mushrooms. I've got kind of a mixed bag of wild mushrooms here, which look cool. They have an awesome flavor, but by no means should you restrict yourself to wild mushrooms. Essentially anything works really well. Those little creminis or baby portobellos work super well in this recipe. The key is, you do want to try and cut them so they're roughly the same size and shape, and then they'll cook around the same time. So I'm going to saute these off just like I do almost all my mushrooms. Get them nice and golden crispy, or golden brown, a little crispy on the edges, soft inside. While I do that, we're going to dice up some shallots, some garlic, prepare our other ingredients. We'll come back and add it once these are ready. Okay, our mushrooms have given up most of their moisture, and we got nice brown edges on them. So this is the perfect time to add our shallot and garlic. I've got a diced shallot, probably a tablespoon and a half, and 2 cloves of garlic, maybe total the amount or half the amount of the shallot. I'm going to turn my heat down. I'm just going to let those that shallot and garlic soften up. And we're going to come back and hit it with a little bit of beef stock. I've got my water boiling. I'm going to drop my pasta now because we're probably only 8 minutes away, 10 minutes away from having our sauce done. Okay, our shallot and garlic have softened up. I'm just going to add a pinch of thyme there. If you have fresh thyme, it's great. Rosemary also works really well in this dish. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of flour. This is probably a teaspoon worth, as my daughter goes crazy because I'm ignoring her cooking for you guys. I added a little bit of olive oil just to because the pan was looking a little dry, and I'm gonna let that flour just cook in a little bit. What we've essentially done is make kind of a mini roux, and that's gonna help thicken our sauce, make it a little bit more rich. I want to let it go for probably another 45 seconds or so. We're going to come back and add in some beef stock. Okay, after about a minute, 2 minutes, our flour is nicely toasted in there. It won't give up that kind of raw, floury taste. I've got here a bit of beef stock that I just kept in the freezer. I thawed it out, obviously. You want to use the best stock that you can get. Wherever you can get it. If you make it yourself, that's great. Got a video on the site for it. I'm going to add that. It's important. The quality is important because this essentially becomes our sauce. So I added this in. Maybe add a little bit more, and I'm going to let this reduce down. As it boils, the flour in there will start to thicken it a little bit, and this is essentially going to be our sauce. We'll add our pasta directly to this. It'll get a little more thick. And there we go. Okay, my pasta is just about done. My sauce is is nicely thickened because of that flour. I just added about 2 tablespoons or so of Parmesan cheese, which is going to also thicken the sauce a little bit. I'm going to stir that in, and then I'm going to turn the heat up, and I'm going to grab my pasta right out of the boiling water. Certainly, you can go ahead and strain it. I'm just going to lift it up. Give it a nice drain, move it right in, and the starch from the pasta is going to further thicken the sugo. So it doesn't really bother me if I get a little bit of pasta water in there. The pasta water itself is going to help thicken it as well. And we're just going to give it a good, couple tosses. Make sure all the pasta gets nicely coated. And then we're also going to hit it with a bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. I like to finish mine with a couple pats of butter inside. This is probably a tablespoon or so of butter. and then a couple tablespoons of fresh chopped Italian parsley. Let's just toss all this around and we are ready to serve up. Okay, let's go ahead and serve up our fettuccine with mushroom sugo. Like always with our pastas, you know, we like to get nice and high there. And then, you know, make sure, move that pasta away, make sure you get some of those mushrooms and that sauce on there as well. You know, great little garnish is a little bit of extra Parmesan cheese. You don't need a whole lot. And then we'll serve it up. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.